Guys, welcome to October's video. You know, rut is just around the corner. Things are really starting to heat up in the woods. We're seeing rubs, we're seeing scrapes. Young bucks are starting to spar. Really, it's that, you know, that kind of pinnacle of the time of year that we all wait for is rut, you know, as whitetail hunters. So we're gonna dive in and we're gonna cover where to put trail cameras, why to put trail cameras there, and how to really hunt those spots using trail cameras to benefit you in terms of surveillance when it comes to whitetails. Okay, so we're on what's called an S-curve. I didn't coin that term, someone else did. It is a geographical shape in this case, a creek, connecting different areas of the farm. From this farm, from one side all the way to the other, this creek makes this big windy path all the way through it. And in these little pockets and coves, in these, I guess the trough of the S shape are on this farm and a lot of farms, bedding areas. Or food plots, sometimes good spots for food plots. But so we've got a bedding area off to the right, we've got a food off to the left. Past the food, we have another bedding area. And in these spots, almost every time, if you look for this geographical structure in the land, you're gonna find a trail going from this bedding area straight to this food, straight across, depending on how the creek lays. These, on either end of here, the creek is sheared off completely just from erosion and the floods from over the years. And a lot of people will focus on the ends. They'll find a rub or a scrape and they'll get all excited about that. Oftentimes that's nocturnal activity. The mature bucks, the older bucks that we're really pursuing are going from cover or bedding area or cover to bedding area and cover to a food source on the path of least resistance with as much cover as possible. So these are a great spot to hunt. These bucks can run the downwind side of this, hook in, cut straight across, catch the next one. So you want to get on the downwind side of the trail that these mature bucks are using. And oftentimes it's not a real beaten path. It can be, it's oftentimes just a minor trail that's oftentimes overlooked. You know, we all get excited about that really hammer down trail. That's oftentimes the does. So look for that small trail on the downwind side and hang downwind of that to really capture those mature bucks, because man, they use this so much. These, you know, point A, point B, bedding, food. Yeah, these are really powerful structures in the area. So bucks are really going to use these a lot, these mature bucks, and oftentimes you're going to find rub lines and you might find some interior scrapes because these are close to bedding areas. And we're going to jump over to a spot in a bedding area that bucks historically have really rubbed up a lot. We're going to hang a camera on it and to get a lot of intel on those interior areas. Okay guys, so we just talked about S-curves as geographical spots on your farm. So we're in the middle of an S-curve right now. This is historically right through here a rub line during the off season, which there's really no off season, but say March when we come in and shed hunt this is one spot we come in and we look at every single year, and every single year this is tore up with rubs. Last year about every third tree in this cluster of trees right here had a rub on it. So we just came in here and we've seen, I think we counted 4 or 5 rubs already. So they're starting, the activity is starting to really spike. It's October, rut is almost here. So this whole area is, like I said, rubbed really hard, all these trees. So the deer feel really safe here. So we really need to hone in on that. We don't necessarily always know why, but there are certain spots that bucks particularly will just destroy, and oftentimes historically. So in the off season, really look for that. So we're gonna put a cell cam up, a solar panel, and we're not coming back in here for the rest of the year. This is not a spot that I'm gonna hunt. This is a spot that I'm just gonna use for inventory, because a majority of the bucks on this farm, I'd almost dare say all of them, will hit this spot really quite often. Sometimes some bucks will hit it every single day. The more homebody bucks, there may be a buck that just beds here and stays in this spot the entire season. So we're gonna put this up, that we're gonna use this as inventory, not as hunting information necessarily for this exact spot, but we can use that information on other spots to farm. Okay guys, next we're gonna hop over to the corner plot and we're gonna put in a rubbed scrape tree. All right guys, so we're running out of daylight, so I'm gonna knock through this, but this is a really important segment of this video. So you might recognize this spot from previous videos, timber tips, inside corners. This is an inside corner. I own this farm, but Aaron hunts it. His blind is right behind us here. He's got his solid access route. I've talked about this in previous videos. I believe it was on the inside corners. So what I've got behind me is I've got a tree that I just went and cut down and drug up here with my Ranger. I dug a post hole, we're gonna set this tree. This tree is about 20 yards, 25 yards from Aaron's box blind. It's out in this plot. The deer feel very safe in this exact spot. That's one of the reasons why we built this plot here, is because deer were naturally safe here. I'm gonna keep pounding on this, help deer do what deer already want to do. Just make it a little better. So I dug this hole as deep as I can possibly get it. It's super dry here right now, super dry. Plots aren't doing very good, but that's just, you know, you just got to roll with what we're given. So we're going to put this tree in, and this isn't my idea. You'll see it done all over the place. I'm not going to show you how to do this. I'm just going to touch on exactly why we're doing it and why we're doing it in this spot. So we've seen rubs, we've seen scrapes. Obviously bucks are getting very dominant this time of year coming into rut. So we're going to put a tree purposefully to centralize scraping activity and dominancy right in front of where Aaron's hunting. This is a very, very powerful tool. It doesn't always work. It's not like a game changer thing, but it's just one more piece of the puzzle that I've found to be very, very successful, especially in trail camera surveillance and gathering intel on deer. Even if it's night activity, you know, that's okay right now. That's not surprising. A lot of these bucks have become nocturnal. They will show up in daylight. This particular spot, like I said, I think it was in the last video, they're bedded just off to my left here. So they come in here right at last light. So we're kind of give them just one more reason to come out just a little bit earlier. You know, if there's another buck out in this plot, maybe it's just that last thing they need. I guess when it comes to dominance, to just get out here, scent check does, reestablish dominance, freshen scrapes, and you know, on the right hunting conditions, Aaron's going to be in this blind and hopefully capture an opportunity to mature buck. And he's got a couple of really nice bucks he's chasing here this year. So guys, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Let us know how I can make these videos better for you. Until November's video, and in November's video we're going to dive into how to really focus towards post-rut, and that's where I have personally killed all of my biggest deer. It's a great time of year. People consider it as lockdown. I don't believe that all that much. I mean, there is that to some degree, but like I said, I've killed all my biggest deer at lockdown. So I'm going to show you guys how to really dive into that and use trail cameras to help you in that pursuit of a whitetail and mature bucks particularly. So guys, thank you. See you next month.